Scentland, the land of scent. Wow, what a smell lingers in the air. Sorry for the shades, I keep them on because the sun is hitting me straight in the face. I love this setting because behind me, Mesdames et Messieurs, may I introduce the wonderful, the famous, the ancient Magnolia flower. First registered by the famous botanic Pierre Magnol and named after him. So credit to Pierre Magnol, who is basically giving his name to Magnolia. And Magnolia, as I say, is a very ancient flower and a very prominent flower in the fragrance industry. Magnolia is there in many female and some male fragrances as well. What you have to know about Magnolia itself is that it smells light, bright, slightly creamy and slightly citrusy, and therefore is a tremendous note, flower note or flowery note or floral note blended into fragrances. As I say, mostly female fragrances. Now, there have been many male fragrances with Magnolia as well. My favorite one by far, male fragrance that includes Magnolia, is the 1993 release by Givenchy called Insensé. It has a tremendously nice, well-blended Magnolia in there, which I totally love. But today I have picked 5 female fragrances, or female marketed fragrances, because anybody can use them who loves Magnolia. So I correct myself. I picked 5 fragrances that in one way or the other include the floral note of Magnolia. So let's start. A very nice release, and as I say, it's a variety. So we have mass market fragrances here, designer as well as niche. So in my top 5 today, I'm trying to really represent or try to get out the most in regards to type of fragrance, market, and the way Magnolia is blended. So the first one is a designer fragrance from the house of Kenzo, I think 2010 or 2009. Once Upon a Time. It has a male counterpart to it, and this fragrance is having a very, very lively, very vibrant, very fresh and uplifting Magnolia that blends in with the other notes so perfectly that it really makes Magnolia shine, and the other aspects as well. It's very distinct. It's very fine, long-lasting, very feminine, very much a lingering fragrance. Don't overspray because the performance is very, very good, very strong. An absolute stunning fragrance from the house of Kenzo, and the name Once Upon a Time, it's really like a fairy tale fragrance. It's floral, so the name totally fits, and the Magnolia aspect here is definitely one of the strongest in the fragrance, and therefore we love it, and therefore it's a great representative for a fragrance that does include the beautiful floral note of Magnolia. Now the next one, ladies and gentlemen, is is another one from Kenzo. Kenzo does Magnolia very well, and I should not include 2 Kenzos in a top 5, right? But they're just so well done, so credit to Kenzo. Eau de fleur de Magnolia. Eau de fleur de Magnolia, meaning basically the water of the Magnolia flower, right? So again, here, this one is a bit fruitier. It does not contain, to me at least, Magnolia in a way that the other one is having it, because this is more sort of a the other aspects are complementing the Magnolia and bringing it toward a more summery, fruity vibe, while with Once Upon a Time it's more a winter, springtime. It's heavier. Here it's lighter somehow. Again, it's a blend where Magnolia is included. This is not only Magnolia in here, definitely not, but the main note it's being referred to as Magnolia. To me, it's a bit fruity. And as I say, Magnolia has this creamy citrusy aspect to it, so that very well could be one of the shiny highlights in this fragrance. Again from Kenzo, Eau de Fleur de Magnolia, a great Magnolia fragrance with a different direction than the one I've presented you before this. Now let's break away from Kenzo. Okay, I like Kenzo because they're really good quality. Let's jump over to Niche, ladies and gentlemen. Niche. Atelier Cologne has released this. Look at this little, you know, it's a very nice detail here. This little holder here. This fragrance is called Sud Magnolia. As I say, Atelier Cologne. This came out, I think it was in 2015. And this is such a delicately feminine fragrance. Spring, summertime, very floral. This is, to me, it's extremely floral, and a slight sweetness in there as well, together with the fantastic creaminess here. With this one, the creaminess of the Magnolia comes into the foreground very much, and gives it this. It has no edges. It's flowing. It's almost like a flowing fragrance. But it's extremely feminine. It's a guy could not wear this, in my opinion. This is a girl dancing in a field of magnolia, in a skirt in the springtime. This is that type. It's a fairy tale, almost a fairy tale fragrance. But while Kenzo Once Upon a Time is a winter fairy tale, this is maybe a springtime summer fairy tale. Okay, so you can see that it really much engages your senses to talk about a floral note like Magnolia and the way it's being blended into a fragrance. So Atelier Cologne is, for me at least, one of the best niche type of fragrances that has the note of Magnolia. Sud Magnolia was the name. I talked about mass market. Yves Rocher is mass market, right? Yet this is the benchmark of all Magnolia fragrances. Yves Rocher Magnolia. This is I think this came out in the 80s, and this is the absolute benchmark for Magnolia. This is pure Magnolia, absolutely pure Magnolia, nothing much added. I cannot sense that much else. It makes it very appealing if you really love Magnolia, and it makes it a little bit too dense, too much Magnolia if you don't like Magnolia. So, but if you love Magnolia, this is signature Magnolia. Okay, this is the absolute must Magnolia for any Magnolia lover. And as I say, this is an absolute signature fragrance, and you can see actually how the bottle resembles the color of the actual flower, although Magnolia has different colors actually, but in this case it totally fits into the review, because it's almost like I just picked this from this Magnolia tree behind me and I smell it. It's almost like a Magnolia flower itself. I don't see any Magnolia falling down, because I will not tear the Magnolia flower to show it to you, because I don't want to harm the tree. You know, I have such a good heart. Wow. So Yves Rocher Magnolia, the benchmark for Magnolia. And last but not least, an easygoing, modern, everyday Magnolia. Again, here it's not only about Magnolia, it's a ingredient, a note in many other floral notes. In this fragrance by Karl Lagerfeld, for her, released in 2014. To me, this one is very nice, does not take itself so seriously, very playful, very young at heart. I think this is an all-arounder, maybe winter, I don't know, not that much, but all the rest of the year is perfect. Projection, sillage, longevity, great on my wife. She uses it, she got it from me as a present. And so, although this line from Karl has been bashed lots of times, I'm still trying to find the reason why, because one of my favorite floral notes, Magnolia, is done so well in here, And actually, I'll tell you what, I think actually it's better Christine Nagel or Natalie Lawson who's behind this fragrance. So what are we talking about? You know, a master knows. And you can really sense it, because the Magnolia here is so nicely welcomed, included in the rest of the fragrances. There's many floral aspects here, and in general Magnolia goes very well with lily of the valley, jasmine, rose, stuff like this. It just lends, it just gives itself into the blend if blended well, right? And in this case it's totally blended well. So this to me is an everyday Magnolia that is just nice, and it lingers and it's there. And so that was it for me in regards to Magnolia. Again, I was trying to present you different sorts and aspects of Magnolia being included in the fragrance, or included in the fragrance, and I hope I succeeded in some shape or form. And enjoy this beautiful Magnolia tree here behind me. And Pierre Magnol, merci beaucoup, monsieur, for registering this beautiful flower as the first man ever.